Welcome to Redeeming Thunder. I'm giving you some more insight regarding arrak shamal, and that means a battle to set up troops, angelic assistance. They're getting ready for battle in this manner. And shamal means to seek the north, and it also is hasmal, root word that has to do with the secret place, to go into the secret place. So when he starts to say that over and over, he's basically saying there's a lot of other voices that are hindering the view, the vision, the destiny, the path that he has for you. And he's needing you to look up, focus on him, look up to the heavens to reach some insight, because sometimes we just need to inform certain people so that they can be available for assistance, but a lot of the time they're coming from a worldly view, a worldly mindset, that unleashes worry, anxiety, depression. Sometimes they mean well, but they're coming from their own experiences, from other people's experiences, and then trying to pour it all on you, or they do extra research, and then they try to say the worst case scenario, with all it's actually doing is speaking death into your life. It's actually also prophesying, so you can't just let anybody prophesy over your life. You can't just let anybody give you advice. You can't just let anybody hang out with you. I know it sounds kind of weird the way I said it, but you need to be selective who you converse with. I know that a lot of the time it's unwanted and uninvited advice that people give. And they just decide to start airing out all these ideals about what's going to happen in your life. I mean, I can give you examples. Okay, so let's say you're going to have surgery on your foot. And so they're already dove in and looked at the downtime for you having to have your foot elevated after surgery and all this stuff, and clots that could happen, and medication you'll be on, and all and starts going over and beyond. Okay, then they also then decide to be like, here are some exercises that you can think of doing, since you're probably going to gain a lot of weight by laying around. Here's some exercises that you can do afterwards. Of course, not right away, but afterwards. It sounds like they're trying to be kind and they're trying to be helpful, but in a way it's still demeaning, and it's still assuming the worst, and it's still none of their business really how you would like to manage and when you would like to start. And this is coming. I hope people that are doing this listen to this video. If you know of someone that does this, please send this video along the way, because it's invited advice. It could be something along the lines of you're inviting them to a party, and then you're trying to decorate it the way you've always dreamed of decorating the location, and then they start saying that's not the place that you should have it at. You should have this theme, and then you should have these color balloons, and you should have this food instead of the ideals that you've already had. And then when you try to stand up for yourself and say, no, this is what I really wanted, this was the main husband and wife are discussing the party of their own child, and you bring up that this is the husband's ideals as well, and then you're defending your own spouse. They get all bent out of shape that you're picking your spouse above them, but really it's like you had the child with your spouse and you're trying to do this party with for your own child. You're not doing the party for your nephew or your niece or somebody else that they have some more input because it's actually their child. But some people get absolutely overly offended when you have to just you're trying to, and it ends up being a fight almost. You're trying to like remind them that you have, you know, your own ideals as well. You have your own. You have your opinion, but sometimes what's going on is all of their advices and worries ends up clouding your mind, clouding the real goal that Yahusha had for you, because they're so insistent, they're so almost invasive, and when you initially try to tell them, hey, you know, this is something really important, I need you to be there for me on such and such time, they're not there for you. They don't want to plunge in, yet they have a lot of ammo to dish out that's negative. You have to be careful who you have on beside you, your right hand men. You have to be careful who you're always going to confide in, if they're willing to dump you when you really need them, and then when they finally, you think that, okay, they're understanding, they care, but then they dump some other nonsense advice that then stresses you out even more, and it becomes this evil cycle. It's because, and I'm giving this example, you're like, what are you talking about? Why are you saying this? I'm like, because you're going to go to battle. We've been in some battles already. You're going to go to battle, and it's going to be a more serious one. And you cannot be bringing everybody with you. And that means their voices, their comments, their opinions. You cannot be bringing, because when the time comes, you have to make really quick decisions. And it kind of also relates to our daily lives, you know, or even spouses. When you're living, when you have a spouse, when you have a husband, or you know, you have a wife with a husband, you need to only confide in them with your issues, or with your wants, with your desires, with your goals. And you're not supposed to be going out and asking your mother-in-law, or asking your mother, or asking your father, and waiting for their approval. It causes a lot of delay and a lot of disruption in the covenant marriage. So you got to be careful with that. And some people are going to get offended when I say this, but it's true. You got married. It's a covenant relationship between you, Yahuwah, and your spouse. It is not a covenant relationship within the entire family and also the children. So, going forward, begin to pay attention who's really there for you at a drop of a hat when you say something's important, and who just tries to exit out and dump you when you're telling them something important. It causes a lot of mistrust, and when people are trying to show you their true colors, believe them. Okay? Not everybody's going to be like you, because you know you've seen them go and drop everything and drop their whole lives to assist others. You know you've seen it. So when you then have a dilemma that's very, very rare, or you have something important coming up, an important appointment, or like important scheduled event that you need to attend to, they're like, I don't know if I can be there. Just pay attention to those kind of things. Those kind of things are just, you know, monotonous drama that you can remove from your life and not really have to deal with going forward. And those are the little voices, you know, those are distractions that cause a lot of unnecessary stress, and then it causes one to get more worried. Like one could be like, oh my gosh, I'm so worried for you. then they act concerned and caring, but then they're like, yeah, but this can happen to you, and that can happen to you, and this happened to somebody else, and they, be careful. And it sounds like they're being caring the way they're saying it, because they're giving you all these other discrepancies that could possibly happen. But it's actually, if you dig deeper, that's how we get wrapped in cursing others. You're projecting a certain scenario on someone's life, and it's not really going to happen that way. So even talking to, own advice, not other people doing it to you, but yourself doing it to others. It's still called witchcraft. It's still called projecting some kind of negative result. Even though you're hoping for, if you're really hoping for the best, pray for that person. If you're really wanting the best for that person, don't give them the worst case scenarios, all the other unnecessary medical advices that weren't not even determined in that moment. Don't give them a whole list of other things to think about. People, you want to be there for that family member. You want to change. You need to change, because then you're like, I'm going to help you by bringing a whole other members to come help you. That's not helping. If they asked you and confided in you, they asked that person. They didn't ask the whole world. Okay? So by you trying to, everybody's trying to build some trust in that, and everybody in the group has to mature. When you are going to have these relationships in your life evolve, they gotta evolve. They gotta mature. You can't go within the same old over and over again. Okay, so that's what I had to say. I did find an example online that expressed someone was looking for some glasses. They've never had glasses before. And then as they were trying to shop for them, the family members that came along, and then also the clerk was saying, no, I don't like that. How about you try this? How about you try that? And it's being so confusing. The judgment becomes clouded due to other people's opinions about what glasses that person was wanting to buy for themselves. And it's like, she was about to be the one wearing them. Nobody else was going to wear them but her. But all of a sudden, everybody else's opinion were louder, and she now forgot what she really wanted and what for herself. And that's the same thing with our life and our destiny. When we care more about what other people's opinions are, maybe we don't care more about them, but we are bombarded by other people's uninvited opinions about our lives and about our situation or circumstance. It becomes clouded. And so what I'm saying is, it brought up Proverbs 20:12, and it says, Yahuwah, I'm paraphrasing, Yahuwah made sight and our hearing. He created that. So in the dream where I am referencing the last segment where it's talking about when I talked about it in a different video, so you want to watch that one as well. See if I can tag it with this one. It speaks about, what happened was, I was in the tactical gear, and then all of a sudden, I couldn't hear anybody talk or hammering about. I couldn't hear anything. And I went back into the building because I was like securing the outside, securing the inside, and I went back in, and as as I was coming out, then I couldn't hear, and now I couldn't see either. And so I was reflecting on that, and it was like clouded. My vision was clouded, where it wasn't blurry, it was just like literally clouds, like light gray clouds. And then I could see darkish gray clouds that looked like ghostly images with spooky eyes. And then I got my weapon and I shot that, and it was dead. And someone said, "Nice shot." And so then I wasn't alone in that moment. I was using other supernatural ability. I was using another form of perceiving without my eyes, without it was like a real live in action vision in the moment, perceiving what was around me. And then there was at one point where this ghostly goblin was coming by that was still gray, darker gray, amongst the other lighter gray clouds. And I just put my hand out, and it just scattered away immediately. So what I noticed is that in that moment, when I didn't have any of my senses, Yahusha was still there with me, and he was making known that if you quiet, he needed to quiet everything so I can revert back to him and be like, this may be the circumstance, but that's not going to be the outcome that other people are stating. You might be going through some medical issue, you might be going through some financial issue, you might be going through some marital issue, but it's not the outcome that everybody in the whole world are stating in its negative talk. Don't go off of their experiences or what they're saying, because sometimes people are not wishing the best for you. They're wishing they secretly don't have the same agenda, and with their secret little disses are not secret. I don't know why people do that, I don't know why people say backhand comments, and they think that they're being secretive a little. They have a little bit of this. Could be envy, could be jealousy, could be secretly wishing ill. But it's going on, and it's going on within the family, and they should be. If they really were for you, they would not say a word. They say, you know what? I believe in Yahuwah, the higher power, and I'm going to be praying for you, because this is going to turn out to be the best outcome, or this festivity that you're planning is going to turn out the best, even though, like, you're having to switch the caterer at the last second, you're having to switch the bouncy thing at the last second. Everything is going to come out and well for you. That is someone that truly loves you and is speaking life into you, so you got to be careful. Don't accept everything and anything that people are saying to you, not even if it's your closest friend who is speaking down and negative, not even if it's like that. I just came across this other video today that was speaking about this woman that she was an ex-Satanist, and so she was explaining her near-death experience, and she felt like her spirit was leaving through the top of her head, and it was actually excruciating. And her ancestors were involved in that, so it was sort of this covenant established ordeal where the grandfather proclaimed covenant, all the women to be in covenant with Satan sometime in their life to establish it. So anyway, what happened was she was dying, and her mother was really stressed, and she was calling out to Yahusha, saying, remember that I proclaimed a covenant with you, And I proclaim my children to be a covenant with you. You cannot let her die in this moment. So in that moment, when she called out, she started coming back to herself. And what was going on, they went to the aunt's house. Well, that was happening. They were traveling and they were trying to get to the aunt's house because the aunt, I don't know, maybe the aunt was taken to the hospital or something along the lines. So that's what happened. And all along, while she was coming back, she saw a vision of her aunt in the kitchen, and she was actually praising and joy because when she was dying. So it's kind of like what's going on there. And then when she came back to life, her aunt was acting normal, like nothing really happened, that she wasn't doing anything scandalous in the corner. So then what happened was her mom was so thankful to Yahusha for saving her daughter, and then her aunt pulled her to the side and was like, you need to make another covenant with, or I mean, said it in front of the mother, you need to make another covenant with Satan, because now he can have you be his bride. There's going to be 7 of you that can be his bride and be his real wife, something along the lines. That was supposed to be where she was going to get higher power of some magical powers. And her mom's like, no, I'm not giving my daughter up to that anymore. And she also refused. And then she pulled her to the side, away from the mother, and she was still trying to get her niece to proclaim her life back to Satan. And so, obviously, she refused. And so, this is an extreme occasion of someone using curses and spells to end someone's life, and probably to steal the virtue of this person, of the niece, for aunt's destiny. Okay, and I guess it sounds like an extreme, but in so many fashions, in life, it is something similar. Maybe you're a hardcore witch or a hardcore sorcerer, but speaking worry and strife and negative comments upon someone's life is still being a witch or a warlock. Speaking negative, oh, she's never going to get ahead, oh, she's always going to be sick, blah blah blah, things like that. Oh, he's always going to be bullied, oh, like with his teeth looking like that, or you know what I mean, comments like that. You think they're just innocent backhand type of comments. You think oh, she's not going to change. If she wants to kill herself, let her kill herself. If she wants to die with all, and not seeking medical attention for her illnesses, just let her. That is not someone that is truly following the word. Okay? That is not someone that's truly. And then be careful who you're hanging out with, because you can be who you can turn out to be, just like who you hang out with. Negative minded and negative self-talk and negative, and I get it. Maybe things haven't been evolving and escalating on a positive level with their own lives, and they feel like it's just not going to happen. It just has to be the worst case scenario. No, it doesn't have to be the worst case scenario. There's some people who are not going to change their mindset the way they speak because of the people that they're hanging out with, but it doesn't mean that you need to select and hang out with those type of people. You got to change too. And silence the voice of the enemy. Sometimes it's in your head, but sometimes it's out loud with your own loved ones. And so when those senses were clouded, I was able to do what I was supposed to do and be in victory the way I was supposed to be. So that is the lesson here. Pay attention more to what Yahusha has to say for your life. It doesn't matter what they have said. The banks have said, the medical diagnosis has said. It doesn't matter what even it has a simple case scenario of choosing some glasses. Don't forget what you want and don't forget what Yahusha wants for you. Shalom.